Hi there, it's Carrie from Stamp with CT. Welcome on into our Facebook Live. Gosh, it's the 28th of May, 2025, which is that's just bonkers. Can't believe how quickly this month has flown by. It'll soon be June. So I'm coming to you from rainy Texas today. We've had some storms over the last few days. And if this is the first time you're here watching one of my videos, my name is Carrie. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I am from Texas. So as you hop in, hope you will say hello. Let us know how you're doing. How's the weather where you live? I know some of you will be watching the replay. Sure do appreciate you, replay crew. But if you're able to hop in live, that is fantastic too. Just glad to be able to carve out a little bit of time that I can craft with you, spend some time with you. So we're having a good day here in the craft room. I worked at the clinic this morning, came home, finished up, just laid out the things for the project today. Made a little lunch, spent a little time with Oliver. So I've had a really good day, y'all. I love being able to go to the clinic just a couple days a week and spend some time with the awesome people that work there, my friends there, my work besties, and hopefully help a little bit. So be sure to say hello as you hop in. Glad you're here. And to get started, come here, Oliver. Hey, come here. So, be sure to say hello as you hop in. All right, we are working with a really pretty suite of products, and it is called Floral Impressions. It is an online exclusive, and I thought I would tell you what that means because I had a question, and I just want to kind of clear up and make sure everybody understands. We've been using online exclusives over the last year and a half, 2 years. And Stampin' Up! Just releases brand new product, and it's not something that's in any publication. So it's not in a catalog. It's strictly in the online store. So you can hop over to stampwithct.stampinup.net after this video, and you can actually go to the online exclusive section. You can type that in, and it will show you those products. And let me just say, when they first introduced these, we had some awesome things on online exclusives, but they just seem to be getting better and better and better. And I love the fact that they are available a little bit longer most of the time than products that are in the catalog, like the minis, because the minis only last usually, 3-4 months. And so it's really nice to be able to have the product and utilize the product a little bit longer. I like to use only current product in my classes, just so that if you fall in love with something, you're still able to get it. Now, a lot of times I can guide you in the direction of something similar, but sometimes we want things to look exactly the same. So I just use current product, and then you're able to see all the new things, and we just have a lot of fun with that in classes and events. But you can go over to online exclusives, take a look around. There's some beautiful ribbons, embellishments. There's just some stamp die bundles. I think there's even, there's a jar one now that's a stamp punch bundle. Some beautiful papers, ribbons, embellishments. Even the in color Stampin' Write markers are over there as an online exclusive. Now, I had someone think that that meant it was only for demonstrators, that it was exclusive to demonstrators, and that's not the case. It's demonstrators are usually able to get things a little bit sooner than our customers, so we're actually able to order, pre-order is what it's called. So we do get it a little bit sooner, but it is available to customers also, just usually maybe 30 days later than for demonstrators. But it's not just for demonstrators, it's for everybody. And this suite is absolutely gorgeous. We have an after party, which is just a little bit more crafting time, fun event after the launch party. It's that same day. And we use this stamp in the after party to create some really pretty fun projects. And so this stamp set was included in the goodie bag for the after party. So Impressions of Bloom, and just wanted to really point out all the different two-step stamps that are in this set. The fact that you have the outline and then also the detail of the stamps. So it just really gives you a fun effect. You have so many options with these stamps and also with the dies. So let me show you the dies too. Of course, they coordinate with the stamps, but you can use these really stand alone also. You could just get the die set. Now, I recommend the flower set too, the stamp set, but you could just get the dies and be super happy with all the different things that you can create. So there's a couple different sizes of flower, a couple different types of flowers. We actually have these taped together right now with some mint tape, but this is the outline of the flower. This adds some detail, so you're actually able to cut and emboss at the same time. Isn't that cool? So we just have something called mint tape, and it's holding those together. It just helps make it, as it goes through the die cut machine, not slip around at all. So you may see that little bit of tape, and we're just leaving that on there when we're done because it's reusable. There's some pretty leaves that also have some really nice detail, and then these two ovals, kind of wonky ovals. They're pretty cool. They have stitching and just give you a really nice effect too. These are part of the die set, but I wanted you to be able to see those flowers really well. So when we did the after party, we had worked ahead and really played around with this stamp and die bundle and came up with lots of different ways that you can use these. Now, this is just the outline die cut from cardstock. This is the outline along with the embossing. And so I'm going to bring it a little closer where you can hopefully see that super, super well. And then as we go down the list, we've got these cut with the blending brush. They're just stamped like the outer image and the more detailed image, and then just stamping off like doing first and second generation. And so it gives you just so many ways that you can use these stamps and dies. I thought this was just a really pretty visual. Now, I'm sure this is not the only way that you can use these stamps and dies, but I just thought this was fun. I'm going to take a picture of this and put it in an album with projects featuring this sweet collection so that you can see it a little closer. But we were really happy with how that turned out. It was a lot of fun presenting that and showing everyone what this stamp die bundle could do. So that being said, I've got some supplies prepped up and ready to go. Let me get everything out of my card base. This was just the easiest way to do it. Uh-oh, I got a glue dot stuck to my card base, but I think I'm going to be able to get it off. So I had some flowers that were still cut from some other things that we were working on. Yeah, I got glue dots everywhere, y'all. That was not very smart. But I had some things already cut and just wanted to use them up. So sometimes that's fun. Looks like I may be missing a little piece of something. Maybe I put it in my other envelope. Let me look right quick. Or maybe I tossed it. I hope not. Because I did have some little centers to my flowers. These may be them. Sorry. I'll keep working and maybe these may be them, but I'll keep working and maybe they'll turn up. If not, we're just gonna go with it. Okay, so I have this basic white card base. It's the thick basic white cardstock. That's what I love using for card bases, so that as I add layers on top, it still has some substance to the actual base of the card. So we'll go ahead and burnish this. It's 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. And initially, I thought I would orient this card this way, but I really think I'm leaning towards turning it this way instead. So this is a piece of Pool Party cardstock, 5 1/4 by 4 inches. I just had Pool Party cardstock out on my desk and thought it would look really pretty along with Secret Sea. And I was not wrong, y'all. Look how pretty that looks. So this is the mini corrugated embossing folder and just one of the large circles from Stylish Shapes dies. Y'all know I love them so much. So in my head, I kind of thought we'd put that on there. We have some flowers. I cut some leaves. Oh, there they are. They were already there. And I would just kind of layer these on with a pretty sentiment. I appreciate you, and make a quick card. And I thought that would turn out really pretty. Use up some of the flowers that were already cut. And so in the process, though, I decided that I really think I want to orient this card this way instead. So let's go ahead and add this panel on. I was really happy with how pretty Pool Party plays with Secret Sea. Now, I'll tell you, Pool Party and Cloud Cover, one of the other new in colors, are pretty similar. But I thought this looked really pretty together. And I think that this is going to be a nice appreciation card, but this would be a really sweet birthday card as well. All right, let's let our glue dry just a tiny bit. I noticed the other day when we were making some swaps that my glue was things were kind of wiggling a little bit. I need to give it a little bit more time to dry than what I have been. And then we're going to add our circle. And I think I'll kind of put that corrugation, that texture at a little bit of an angle. And I think I'm pretty good to go ahead and put this down. Now I'm going to put a pretty good amount of glue because, you know, with that embossing, not a lot of those fibers are going to make contact with the Pool Party cardstock. So I want to make sure that this does not come apart or anything. So probably right about there will be good. And I'm really hoping Oliver does not hear, but I think the mailman is out there. He will bark if he hears him. Okay, so now we've got some leaves. And this is just Mossy Meadow cardstock that I cut this leaf from, or kind of foliage looking. And I kind of want this up in this corner. So we'll go ahead and tack it down. And I went ahead and stuck all this onto glue dots just so I didn't lose any pieces. But I do have dimensionals over here if we want to pop some things up too. I think we might. So let's, I don't think I'm going to use this other, maybe I will. Wasn't going to use this other piece of greenery, but maybe I'll put him over to this side. We'll see. We'll see how it looks. I can always pull it back out if I change my mind. And I like just securing that with a glue dot. I know it's a nice strong adhesive. This is kind of up and dimensional that way. I don't want to glue those down completely. All right, we've got 3 different flowers here. We've got a petal pink, a fresh freesia, and then also, you get a couple more glue dots, also strawberry slush. Strawberry slush. I love to get a strawberry slush from Sonic. And it looks about that color. That's what's so funny. So we'll put this flower here. And of course, it's going to cover up a little of my corrugation, but that's just how it goes. It just still adds some texture and some interest under there, I think. And then I may go ahead with this fresh freesia flower and add a dimensional so that it's got a little bit of lift, a dimensional or 2. And what I may need to do, yeah, we'll put a couple. I may need to go ahead and put their centers on before I put this last flower on. That's funny, that was stuck under there the whole time I was looking for it. So just using those same colors, and this may not be the right ones. Yeah, it is. No, it's not. Hold, please. No, I don't know where. Here they are. Yeah, these are the right centers for this one. They're just the same colors of cardstock. So we'll take the fresh freesia and maybe add it to the strawberry slush. Which I guess we can put strawberry slush on our pink flower. I think that's petal pink. And then we'll use this one on our fresh freesia. Nice and bright and fun. I'm going to bring that over. Cover up where our greenery came in, and it does cover up our flowers just a tiny bit, but that's okay. And then I've already stamped the I Appreciate You in Secret C, just on some basic white cardstock. And again, kind of thinking we want that popped up. Now, I tried using some of my 1/2" strips to add this sentiment, and it's just a little bit too wide, so I went with 3/4 inch, which is probably, that makes the paper maybe a tiny bit too wide, but I just left it. I just went with that. So I wanted this to be a pretty quick and easy card, really showing you what these dies can do. I think they're just fabulous. All right, let's turn it this way. Maybe kind of bring that sentiment in like that. Let me see, let me turn it upside down and I'll be able to see it a little bit better, I think. The other day I did a card with y'all and it looked pretty good on the video, and then when I got off the video I was like, oh my goodness, it was so wonky. Should I bring that up underneath there? No, because it covers my eye. Anyway, sometimes it's a little bit difficult to tell at the angle that I'm at, but I go back and try to adjust them if that's what they need. Okay, what do y'all think? I think it's cute. And then I had the antique pearls. I think that's what they are, yes. Antique pearls sitting out. So thought, let's add a couple of those. Let me grab my Take Your Pick tool. And these are nice and flat. They've got a little bit of shine to them, but I thought that would be a fun embellishment to add. And I may add a few more than I typically would, since I've got some of that negative space. Maybe one right up here. Just add some of those gems in there. And just a reminder, I like to keep mine in a clear envelope just like this. Works out really well for me. Okay, so what do y'all think? Turned out pretty cute, didn't it? And it was really pretty quick, and especially the fact that these flowers were already cut and I just was able to use them up. So I was really happy when I kind of laid this out to kind of get an idea of what I wanted to do. I thought that turned out cute. I like it. Okay, let's step it up a tiny bit and make another card. And this time, what I did was cut everything from Designer Series paper. So I went ahead. We've still got the same basic white card base. And I do think we're going to orient this one vertically. And I do have a piece that's 3x4. Whoops. Let's bring this one in first. This is a piece of Designer Series paper. So instead of the Pool Party cardstock, so you can tell just a tiny bit of difference in the shade, I've got a Pool Party Designer Series paper, and it does have a little bit of a design to it. Now, you may not be able to really tell that very well on camera, but there is a little bit of design, so that just kind of zhuzhed it up a little bit more. And I've got this piece that's 3x4 that I went ahead and ran through the embossing folder with the mini corrugated. Oops. Let me throw that across, huh? And so we'll get this adhered down. And I just wanted a little bit more real estate to have a place to add a bigger flower, because I had a die cut flower that's much larger. It's the biggest one. Let me see if I can do it this way and get it kind of lined up here. Somewhat centered. And I think I want a little bit more down at the bottom. I think that's pretty good. Sometimes I wish I had y'all's vantage point. You're probably like, no, it's crooked. It's funny because when friends have come over and either helped with the video or you know, worked underneath my setup, it really does make a difference not being able to get right up over what you're doing, especially when you're stamping. Okay, you can see similar, but we're going a little bit different. And I do have this folder out and another little piece of cardstock that I may go ahead and emboss with y'all. We'll see. We'll see how much time we take up today. So again, I have those same bits and pieces. I have flowers cut though from the designer series paper. So if I flip it over, you can tell this is designer series paper, including the little leaves, kind of foliage pieces. Let's see. There's one that I've lost. That's okay though. We're going to go ahead and put him on here. And I would like it to be going up like this. Look at something right quick. Okay. And then I've got, like I said, the different size flowers. And I know that I want that large one to be on top. This one I thought turned out super cute using the designer series paper. It really gives it a pretty effect. Add one more glue dot. And so I'll probably put it right about there. And I'm okay if it goes off that piece of Secret Sea just a little bit. This one right about here. And I guess I should go ahead and put their centers in there, shouldn't I? Again, you may be able to tell a little bit better with this, with the designer series paper, using the dies that have the embossing detail to them. This is just, it really adds something to them. I love that. I'll put the yellow one here on the pink flower, I think. I mean, not yellow one, pink one. Maybe fresh freesia over here. And then this one on our big flower. And you can probably really see that detail with the bigger flower. It's so pretty. I'm hoping that the camera picks up pretty well with that, but in person it looks lovely. And we'll add that flower with dimensionals. You can see that's designer series paper, all right. And we're even going to use our greeting stamp on designer series paper as well. And I'll add that right about there. Bring that in. I may need to bring this one over a tiny bit to help cover up the end of that greenery. If I find my other greenery, I'll put it in there. Not sure what happened to it. So just wanted to show you, this is just a little strip of the designer series paper, about 3/4 of an inch again, and I just cut it off where that sentiment ended. So such a pretty script for the greeting as well. And this is going to need to go more across the flowers this time, I think, or I could put it down. Decisions. I kind of left a little spot there for it. It would cover up my flowers a little more though. Maybe I should bring this one down. Yeah, I kind of like that. Maybe bring that one up just a tiny skosh. And we'll add some dimensionals again. And of course, you could also add a little bit of ribbon. That would bring a little more texture, some thread, that type thing. Oops, I grabbed my wink of Stella. I'm not going to be able to get the backings off of dimensionals with a wink of Stella, am I? Sometimes I just have things on my table, y'all. And again, I'll turn this to kind of be able to add, maybe just go right to, maybe right to the edge of this. Let's see how that looks. I'll turn it right side up in just a second. The corrugations actually help me to get that lined up. I can still see my stem under there from my leaf. So let me work on that. Tuck that flower back in there better. Oh no, I think I hurt my leaf. I did. That's the other one. They were stuck together. Maybe I'll put him. They were just kind of stuck together. Another glue dot. When in doubt, add another glue dot, right? A little little foliage surgery there. And I think I need a little more adhesive on this guy too. I think that will help. I'll tuck him under. Okay, now I think that's better. And then I want to come in with the holographic gems. Now, if you've not seen these are also an online exclusive. Look at that shine. If you followed me for long at all, you know that shiny is my favorite color. And these really fit the bill. They're gorgeous. I'm going to use a couple of the larger ones up here. Ooh, that really picks up the blue from that background. That's fun, isn't it? And I'm just really thinking I'm going to use the larger ones. Again, I may use a couple more embellishments than I typically would, just because I do have that negative space. And it doesn't hurt to have a little bit of shine in that negative space, does it? Wow. Now that turned out pretty, y'all. It may be off just a tiny bit wonky, but I can work on that too. What do you think? I'm happy with this one too. Really love those holographic gems on there. So we've got one made with cardstock and one with the Designer Series paper. The flowers cut from that. I think both are really, really fun. Had a good time making both of those. Hope y'all like them. All right, let me get those out of the way. And then I thought we'd talk for just a minute about a couple of just tips on how to do the embossing. Let me bring in my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. I love how it folds up like that for storage. And then I'm going to bring in my platform. And then this is the embossing folder, the mini corrugated. Now, I've told people it's a little bit confusing to me because the corrugation, it's not a mini folder. The corrugation is what's mini about it. So in Stampin' Up! Embossing folders, you do have a line up here by the Stampin' Up! Logo. And the logo is always on the front of the embossing folder. That helps people a lot of times. We're going to line that right up on our platform and then put this gray specialty plate on to crank this through. And that applies just enough pressure to really give a nice embossing. Now I'm going to run it back through, and you can see I'm not having any problems. I'm not forcing it at all to go through. Get this out of the way. I can fold that up again. And then we can take our plate off, open our embossing folder, and we've got that beautiful corrugation. So that's how easy it is to get that lovely texture that we're looking for to add to our projects. And we have all kinds of embossing folders, so many different embossing folders to choose from. So it can really add a lot of fun to your project. So I tend to use my embossing folders a lot, then kind of set them aside and almost forget about them a little bit. So if you have not used embossing folders in a while, if you have some, pull them out and put them to work. They can really make your projects a lot of fun. I think either one of these cards would be nice with lots of different embossing folders used. But this is a really fun one that's available right now. It may still be on back order, but it'll be back in stock soon if it's not right now. Okay, I think that's it for today. It's been fun being here with you. I hope you've picked up some maybe tips or tricks, and I hope that this inspires you to pull out your product and make a pretty card. Make something that means something, and then send it out. All right, thanks a bunch for being here. See you soon.